Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. I am Peter, and I'm joined, as always, by Tim.
Hello.
Top of the morning to you. You're never going to hear take one of that intro where I did the entire thing in a very bad Irish accent. You're never hearing that, so do not ask for it.
Or if we get a courageous whistleblower at some point who's not afraid to do scream leaks.
Scream leaks. We're Scream leaks now. Okay.
Is this gonna be like me with my face blurred and my voice distorted?
Welcome everyone. We're gonna expose Peter's Irish accent for what it is. No. We talk about horror movies on this show. This is Screams After Midnight.
Of the past and present.
Of the past and the I've not said that in a long. I've not said that in at least 150 episodes, Tim.
Maybe people forgot. Maybe they need reminded.
From the past and the present. Okay.
Never the future, because that's impossible.
Maybe one day we'll get some time travel devices, otherwise known as time machines.
Treadmills. They're called treadmills, Pete.
Cosmic treadmills. Oh my. So where to begin? So for some reason in October, which is now several months ago, half a year even, in fact it's over half a year, because we're recording this in June. I don't know when this episode's going up yet, but it's been a while. But we started the Leprechaun. No, this wasn't October. This was January, because this was something we started in January. Right. That's right. So we started Leprechaun, the franchise, and we are going to continue through that franchise. We're rotating it through with all the other franchises we're working through. And today,
I don't know why it doesn't take priority, but
I'm going to give you nothing but reasons for the remainder of this podcast. We're talking about Leprechaun 2 from 1994, just 1 year after the original.
Yeah, you got struck while the iron's hot. You know, it's funny. I was watching the, of course, I have the Blu-ray box set, and they do have these special features. You know, where it looks like they were trying to do their own version of, like, you know, Crystal Lake Memories or or Never Sleep Again, but for the Leprechaun franchise. But it's just like much shorter. It's like 20 minutes per movie. But I was watching this for Leprechaun 2, and it was funny because they were talking about, like, you know, like, oh, well, you know, the first Leprechaun was such a hit that they wanted to, like, fast track a sequel right away. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, was it really that much of a hit? I mean, obviously, I know I love it, but was the world ready for it at the time?
I think they're maybe using some hyperbole a little bit, just to up their own credibility. Hey, we were in Leprechaun 2. That means something important, right? Yeah, it means you have no career.
But it is funny, they're interviewing the original creator or writer or whatever, and he did seem like a little jaded about it, because he seemed like, well, you know, I had an idea for Leprechaun 2, but the studio wanted to go in a different direction, and you know, by the time they reached out to me, I'd already begun working on another project, which was Rumpelstiltskin. I just thought it was very funny that you go from Leprechaun to Rumpelstiltskin. Interesting.
So we're gonna have Leprechaun 2. We'll start spoiler free. We'll give you a warning in the middle before we go into spoilers. But brace yourself for it. So where to begin? What is the premise of Leprechaun? So I think first and foremost, other than the fact that Warwick Davis is back playing the Leprechaun, there's actually no reason you have to see the first one. There's no continuity. There's nothing that connects the two of them other than the fact that he's there.
Which is another interesting thing I learned on the special features, which this was actually shocking to me, but this isn't technically a sequel. According to the director, this is a reboot. They rebooted the franchise after one movie, because he specifically says, like, in the special features, he says, like, you know, oh, we were rebooting way before, like, Spider-Man and Batman, and we one of the first ones to reboot.
Okay, first of all, why call it Leprechaun 2? Secondly, I take umbrage with the use of the word interesting, which you used at the start of that story.
I kid you not, my mind was blown when I found that out. I thought this was a sequel all these years. It's a reboot. Who knew? I guess I like reboots. I like this reboot.
So the premise of this one, we open with a flashback. Of course, the first thing you see in this movie, in giant green text, is Ireland.
Yeah. I don't know why you have such a problem with this. You don't like it when movies tell you the location? That's not a bad thing, Pete.
I just laugh because those bagpipes playing, it says Ireland in big giant green text. Like, I don't know, it just like really over the top to me. Just subdue it a little bit, subdue it. Anyway,
I've been to Ireland, but
so
it's not far off.
It establishes this weird rule 1,000 years ago that if the leprechaun can make a woman sneeze 3 times, she will then be his wife. And he's nabbing this woman.
I take umbrage with your use of the word weird in that.
Is that how you got married, Tim? You made her sneeze 3 times?
Can neither confirm nor deny that.
Dear. Most like weirdos use chloroform. Tim's just got some like some like dust. Like, here, sniff some dust. It's like, achoo! That's one, baby. That's one. Two more, and you're locked in.
I also thought it was interesting that like, oh, so I guess there's not just like I mean, I've seen all these movies. I'm still not exactly entirely sure how leprechauns work, but like I guess there's not like male and female leprechauns. Like they're like a male leprechaun will take a human female bride, which is interesting. That's
I guess. Why do you think there's no female leprechauns? Did they mention that?
Well, no, but wouldn't he marry if there was like a female leprechaun? Wouldn't he marry one instead of marrying a human? Why is he so intent on marrying a human?
Maybe he just likes humans.
I mean, maybe
he's got a human fetish. All right,
sure.
There's not a lot of leprechauns. I mean, is there even evidence to suggest that there's multiple leprechauns in this universe?
Well, I have a theory, but we'll have to get into that at the end of the series.
I've got a theory that it's a demon, a dancing demon. Though something isn't right there.
Oh, is that from Buffy?
That is from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Thank you very much. Which, to my recollection, never did leprechauns specifically.
They did?
No, they didn't. I'm saying they didn't. I don't remember them doing it.
Oh, they didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, they did not. But hey, maybe the reboot will do it. Maybe the reboot will have some leprechauns in it.
Are they still actually doing that?
Apparently, yeah. It's just, I mean, there's been no news for a while, but I mean, they announced it really early. Just when they were like starting to, like, they just hired a showrunner, and that was it. So,
okay,
we'll see how it goes. So, where? So yeah, the premise is that so this fails. That the father of this woman that he's trying to like woo, kind of fights him back, and because
he's a leprechaun slave, and he was promised his freedom once the leprechaun takes his bride.
Yes,
but in maybe one of cinema's greatest twists, you find out that the bride that the leprechaun has fancied himself with is actually the slave's daughter. So, it's a like a very emotional situation he's put in. Do I sacrifice my freedom and condemn my daughter to marry a leprechaun?
Surface greatest twists.
I'll stand by that.
How am I supposed to focus on this review with lines like that? Surface greatest twist.
Were you not surprised when that happened?
No! I wasn't remotely surprised. God damn it. You know what's funny is I was going to just gloss over this opening scene and get to present day, but Tim's no nitty gritty. We have to talk about the fact that he was enslaved. We have to talk about the twist. We have to talk about the emotion of him fighting for his daughter.
I was trying to do the movie justice.
Tim, if you wanted to do this movie justice, I would just pull down my pants and take a dump right here live on the podcast.
Well, our numbers might go up. Some people that are into that.
Oh my god! All right, my face is sore, Tim, from the laughing. Oh. Okay.
What? You're such a sourpuss that just the idea of laughing just hurts your face.
Oh come on! You never get a sore face from laughing too hard. It's a compliment. You made me laugh, you idiot. Hey, so we get to present day, and Clint Howard and Kimmy Robertson are like a couple of tourists. The two most recognizable people in this movie, outside of Warwick Davis, I suppose. Hollywood royalty. The weird is he Ron Howard's cousin or brother? I can't remember what the relation is.
I think he might be both, to be honest.
Both?
Something weird's going on with that family.
I mean, Ron looks like a normal human being. Clint's a little bit wackier looking, and then Kimmy Robertson.
This is a pro Clint podcast. Do not disparage the man.
Is this all Clints? Is this also Clint Barton?
All Clints, but that does not include the Clintons.
Of course. Of course. Yes. Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. What was I going to say? You see, maybe I'll track here, Tim. Yeah, Kimmy Robertson is from Twin Peaks, which is where I know her from. She's delightful. But yes, they are suckered into, because our main character, Cody, him and his uncle run a tour service in Los Angeles, which is basically just, they've got a hearse that they drive around. They've got enough room for like 4 passengers, and so, this is the thing, he has like a little loudspeaker thing, and I'm like, why do you need that? You've got 4 people in the car, like they can hear you. And
Theatrics, my boy.
They drive around and just like go to various houses and say, this is the last resting place of this serial killer, and things of that nature. Here's what I don't get though. So the first thing in the movie that really like caught me, I don't want to say off guard, but so he actually like gets these two tourist couples to agree to pay for this tour. He gets them in the hearse. There is then an extended sequence of him going to find his uncle who's supposed to give the tour, who's drunk in a bar. He goes to the bar, he finds him, he talks to him, realizes he's too drunk, he tries to sober him up with some ice water, it doesn't work, and then he's like, you know what, I'll just give the tour. And he goes back and gets out of the car, and would you believe it, he's driving these same 4 people around. They have been sitting in that car waiting on him for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. I don't understand what your problem with that is. Have you never taken a tour before?
Well, you just get left alone with no supervision in the vehicle?
Sometimes.
In a hearse?
Yeah, it's spooky.
It'd be one thing if it was one of those open top buses or something like that, and it's like a lot of people, it's like a crowd, but just these 4 people left alone in the car on their own for like 30 minutes.
It's part of the ambiance, I would say.
Oh my god.
And so of course here we have Morty.
Who you may recall from Seinfeld as the one who really cares about the pen. Yeah. That's where I knew him from. That's where I knew his face from.
Yeah. So yeah, Uncle Leo from Seinfeld. And he's great in this movie. He brings a lot of the Uncle Leo energy to the role that he's known for.
Yeah, he's a con man. He's constantly trying to get people to invest in his tour franchise, and he's constantly trying to swindle people. In fact, he even steals a pen in this just to connect us to Seinfeld. He steals a cop's pen at one point when he's getting Cody out of jail. He steals his pen, and the cop's like, "Give me my pen back." And he's like, "Oh, sorry."
He kind of reminds me of like a Dick Miller a little bit. He has like
I
a
can
little
see
bit
that.
of Dick Miller energy to him.
I can see that. But yeah, no, he's very likable, to give him credit. I think the two other main characters, which is Cody and his girlfriend Bridget, are both terrible actors, especially Bridget. Bridget cannot act at all.
Do you know who they originally wanted for the role?
Christian Slater.
No.
No, okay.
Denise Richards.
For Bridget.
For Bridget, yeah.
That's interesting. Which was Denise Richards in 1994?
I don't know, but according to, again, the special features, it sounds like she wanted to do the movie, but the studios wanted this actress for some reason.
That's interesting. Oh no, it was the same year as Tammy and the T-Rex, so she was about this age. Yeah.
Oh, is that? Are we gonna do that? Does that count as a horror movie?
I think we'll count that for a bonus episode someday.
Okay.
It's
because
not...
they're releasing like an R-rated cut. I don't know if you heard about that.
I know, I did say.
Yeah.
Tim, do you know how weird it was that there was news to talk about Tammy and the T-Rex in the news like a few months ago? I was like, and we have news on Tammy and the T-Rex.
Well, I look forward to that. I've actually never seen it, so I will.
I've seen clips.
Watch it.
I've seen clips, but I am very well aware of what it is, what it's about, and that Paul Walker's brain gets put inside an animatronic T-Rex, and then Denise Richards still does strip teases for him. It's the whole thing.
Yeah. People say there's no original ideas anymore. Well, in the 90s, there were.
We could do Tammy and the T-Rex. I'm down for it.
We'll do it We'll do it during Dinosaur Month.
What's Dinosaur Month?
We'll do a whole bunch of dinosaur movies. We'll do Carnosaur.
Actually, you could argue it's more sci-fi. You may have to fight Tara for the rights to this one, actually. That could be a Atomic Cinema Experiment episode.
Oh, okay. We'll do a crossover or something.
There's
We'll
a debate.
figure it out.
We'll do the Atomic Cinema After Midnight special. God, this review's going to go on forever.
I like that you say fight her over it as if like she's dying to do that movie.
I bet she is. I've not spoken to her about it, but I bet she is.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. So, do my Joe Pesci. All right. Okay. My Leo gets whatever you want. Leo gets. See, so we get introduced to these characters, and she gets mad at him. Bridget gets mad at Cody because he has to give the tour because his uncle's drunk. So she goes to the GoKart place and hangs out with some friends, but including the guy who clearly wants to bang her, and is like, because Cody's all like, oh, I promise next time it'll be different. She's like, what makes you think there'll be a next time? Hair over the shoulder, walks away.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the moment. And that's kind of that, really. And also at one point Cody runs into a homeless man at one point, and that homeless man later, like the leprechaun comes out of a tree by drawing the homeless man's booze towards the tree, and he comes out drinking the booze. That was a thing.
Yeah,
that was a thing.
But he doesn't like it because it's not Irish whiskey; it's Canadian whiskey.
So of course,
which is very funny. That was a great joke. I was laughing.
That's not a great joke.
It's crazy. The leprechaun, he comes out and he's drinking the whiskey. He spits it out because it's Canadian.
At the very least, you didn't say it's one of the greatest jokes in cinema. At least you didn't say that, because I don't think I could have held it together if you had said something as ridiculous as that.
And then I love how many people have gold teeth in this movie.
Yeah, the homeless man's got a gold tooth. Like, what the hell?
It's like a little sparkle to it.
You know what, just the full spoilers, because we're clearly going through this movie in order, so I'm just going to give the full spoiler warning just now. No one cares about spoilers for Leprechaun 2.
All right, you can do that.
Jesus. Yeah, so the leprechaun ends up, he runs into a guy in the street, and he's like...
So wait, hold on. I need to back up just a smidge. So in the beginning of the movie, when he says... He can only take a bride every 1,000 years? Is that it?
Yes, 1,000 years, yes.
Okay.
And he's going after Bridget because she's a descendant of the same people.
Smart.
Wrong.
What? That's good storytelling.
Oh my god. Tim. You're gonna break me, Tim. You're gonna break
If
me.
it was just a random person, it wouldn't make sense. But the fact that they made her a descendant, like, I don't know. I was impressed with that level of detail.
Oh, it's genius! It's genius! It's absolute genius. Okay.
I really wish I would have seen this in theaters, because I can only imagine the audience reactions once the leprechaun steps out of that tree. And it's like, oh man, he's back. He's in present day. Because you spend a while going like, all right, like how are these people, gonna fit into the life of the leprechaun here? And then, once you see him come out, and again, he's drinking the Canadian booze, which is very funny. So I can only imagine that the theater would have been like, yeah, we're laughing at this joke, but also, here's the guy we came to see. So, there's probably like some laughter and then some clapping. It would have been cool.
I can. I just can't fucking do it. I'll tell you the reactions, Tim. The reactions would have been something along the lines of this.
The the director did say that when it did come out in theaters, and that he went to see it at the Cinerama Dome, which, if you know LA, that's like oh shit, that's like a very big like movie theater. That's a lot of like only really big movies get played there. And he said there was like 3 or 4 people there, and after that he never watched the movie again, which is a shame, because I think it's, you should be proud of your work.
No, we shouldn't. Can I just point out that we've done 300 plus episodes at this point, and there's very few of them where Tim's come in with like, I watched all the extra features, I've got all this bonus information, but the one he does it for is Leprechaun 2. He didn't do this for Halloween. He didn't do this for Nightmare on Elm Street or any of the heavy hitters. He does it for Leprechaun 2.
Hey, it's important to me. It's I want to come in with being knowledgeable, and I don't want to look like a fool and get my facts misrepresented. I want to make sure I'm putting out accurate information.
I wouldn't worry about looking like a fool, Tim.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so the leprechaun there's a scene with the guy in the street where the guy's just making fun of him for his size, and he's like, I'd like your gold, and he's like, oh, very funny, yeah, blah blah blah, and he ends up biting the guy's finger off because he's got a gold ring.
This is I was actually cracking up about this last night. If you like follow me on Twitter, or Screams at Midnight on Twitter, because I think I tweeted out there too. But
our address on Twitter is not Screams at Midnight. That's not how Twitter handles work. It's at Screams Midnight.
Ooh, what have I been tweeting from? Might have to fix that after the show. But yeah, there's just, when the guy reaches down, there's just a close up of him handing the leprechaun his card, because I guess he's like an agent or something, and he thinks like he sees this like grotesque creature and isn't instantly like repulsed that there's like a monster in front of him, because the leprechaun doesn't look like a normal person. Like, he has like fangs and like a weird face and pointy ears and stuff, but people are always just like, oh, hey, it must be a leprechaun. Like, it must be a guy dressed up like a leprechaun. Like, no, he looks like evil. I don't know. And then, but I had to screenshot this, because when he hands him his card, he just has the fakest finger on him like I've ever seen. Like, his one finger that gets ripped is obviously getting ripped off, like, is a different color than the rest of his hand. It has like a very visible like incision line where it's going to be pulled off. But I mean, I don't know, maybe you weren't paying attention, but like me, that was something that really struck out to me. It's so funny.
Tim, I never want to be accused of not giving Leprechaun 2 a complete 100% of my attention. I was totally not playing video games as I was watching Leprechaun 2. I would never do that, Tim, and don't you dare suggest otherwise.
And of course, you know, when he, again, just when you watch a scene like this, you just got to imagine it playing to a big crowd, what the reaction would have been like. But after he eats his finger, he says,
"What big crowd?" The director just admitted that in the biggest theater in LA, it was empty. There was no big crowds for this, Tim. That never happened.
I think we can all agree that this is a cult movie. It has a cult following behind it. I think if they did, you know, midnight showings now, people would come. They would, you know, bring like shoes.
No one would show up.
To throw at the screen.
No one would go. This is not the only cult thing about this movie is if you happen to love this movie, you're probably gullible enough to be in a cult. That is the only correlation between Leprechaun 2 and the word cult that I will entertain. You crazy man.
Well, I mean, what I'm getting at here though is, you know, he says a funny joke here where you know, once he bites off his finger, he says it's finger looking good, which that's funny. That was like the KFC commercials at the time. He knows pop culture. It's very, very funny.
He knows pop culture. No, yeah. Tim, this was funny in Near Dark when Bill Paxton did it 10 times better, like 7 years earlier. They copied a joke from Near Dark.
But no one remembers when he did it. People remember when Warwick Davis bites off the businessman's finger and licks it, and he says, "Finger looking good."
Tim,
I think we're on like minute 17 of the movie.
Yeah. We're barely in out Act 1 yet, and we're already like 30 minutes into the podcast. This is going well.
There's a lot to talk about. How crazy it would be if this was like our longest episode. It's like 3 hours.
Is that a threat? Tim knows I'm hungry. Tim knows I'm ordering Chinese food when we're done, and he is dragging this out as long as humanly possible. Hey. And this is not even the last thing we're recording. We've got another movie to record after this.
Yeah, the other movie after this is like a no-name thing. We'll get through that one fast.
Oh my god! All right, so basically, the douchebag that's into Bridget takes her back home and tries to pull the moves on her, but she's like, "No, I'm dating Cody, you silly," and she has to like tell him to leave. So the Leprechaun.
I hate to say it, but you might be a better actor than her. That was a better line reading.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. I don't doubt it. I think I am a better actor. But she's willing to take her top off, which is probably why she was cast. Because so as he's walking away, one of the Leprechaun's powers apparently is that he can like make people think he's someone else, like full height, and like you know, like completely like give them like a phantom version of a person.
Yeah, he can manipulate reality.
He can also teleport and fade away.
Yeah, he's unstoppable. He might be one of the most powerful slashers out there.
Which is why which is weird because he feels really weak in other scenes, but he's also got all these ridiculous powers that are super strong. But should make him like, no, we need Superman to fight him. That is the only hope we've got. But whatever. So
he has a little bit of a mixapitalistic quality to him.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of mixy. I can see that. But anyway, so he lures him in with the fake version of Bridget, who's like taking her top off and the boobs are out, and he's coming in.
I like that she basically like I forget if she punches him in the stomach or knees him in the nuts, but she basically does something like that, and the guy's like, oh, and then like literally 2 seconds later, she's in the garage taking her clothes off, saying, "Hey, come here,"
and he falls for it. The guy's
just like, what?
Yeah. Because he calls her a tease or something like that. When she hits him, but like, yeah. So he's walking. So here's the thing. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what type of lawnmower has 2 blades rotating, so that they can symbolize boobs. Because as he's walking towards the boobs, it cuts to what he's really walking towards, and it's 2 lawnmower blades going like this. Maybe it's one of those big lawnmowers you can drive. You know, you sit in them and like,
sure.
You know. Maybe that's one of these things that has the 2 blades. Because I don't necessarily think they built a custom lawnmower just so the boob imagery could be there.
I'll be honest. I didn't even know exactly what this was. I just knew it was like two rotating blades.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lawnmower. It's definitely like a
Okay.
which or a grass cutter as they call it in civilized countries.
Clearly a reference to Lawnmower Man.
It's clearly a reference to titties, Tim. It's better to be the nipples and then the
Sure. Yeah.
two big deadly titties.
Yeah. Well, I think in a way that's every man's fear. That
Fear? If I'm going to go out, it's by deadly titties. That's how I want to go. Jesus. Anyway, so he gets killed.
great death scene too.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to sort of the wall, you see the blood splatter, and you get the shadow, as opposed to like actually seeing it. So it's not like super graphic, but it's a fun death scene. I'll concede it's a fine death scene.
Wearing you down.
Yeah, wearing me down. So Cody shows up later on with flowers, and he tries to forget, I'm sorry, and nothing's gonna get between us. Blah blah blah.
Wait, was it? I don't. There really isn't any reason for him to have killed this person. Because he was like leaving the house, like.
Yeah, he was just doing this for kicks. Yeah. This is all that was.
I think that's one of the reasons why he's so scary, because it's like, you never know why he's gonna come after you. Like sometimes, like he might come after you if you've wronged him, but there are other times like he might just kill you for the heck of it.
Tim, I can't handle you saying things so matter of fact. That's why it's so scary. That's why
it is. People.
There's nothing scary about this. The only scary thing about this movie is some of the acting. Some of the acting's a bit scary.
I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh, bet not. You were too excited. We were finally get to talk about Leprechaun 2. Yeah. I've been waiting for this. We're waiting for this for like 6 months. It's time for Leprechaun, baby. So she starts sneezing when he's in there with her. So obviously the Leprechaun's, just off camera making her sneeze, and she sneezes 3 times, and he shows up, and he strangles Cody with the phone cord, and
wait.
Okay. What have I skipped over? What beautiful moment do you want to go in depth with, Tim?
Well, Cody comes over with some flowers, and actually I was going to mention something, but I just remembered that it was from a scene from the other movie we just recorded about a flower delivery person.
Yes, I recall.
Yeah. So, we forgot to mention that.
It wasn't that important to say. I'm not feeling guilty because we didn't talk about the flower delivery scene.
Well, I thought it was funny because the roommate in the other movie, the roommate, like she says something like, "If those flowers are for me, I'm gonna jump your bones right now." And I just thought it was funny because but it's a flower delivery person. They're not the ones that are giving you the flowers, right?
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I wish." Like,
yeah.
I'd asked her out there and then. She seems raring to go.
Yeah, all he has to do is say, well, hold on, wait, these aren't for you, but let me just go get some flowers real quick.
Yeah, I'll go get some flowers for you if you want. Yes, we just recorded Greta before this. That'll have been up for a while before this goes up. Yeah, we recorded Greta. It happened, right? We recorded these in the same days. The magic is gone. You know how we do things now. What's the point, Tim? End the show. Last episode ever.
Well, I mean, I think the magic still does exist, specifically in the Leprechaun movies. There's just magic all over the place.
I had to consciously not spit take there. I was really having to focus on my mouth. I just want you to know that. Right, so you described the scene then. You have the details memorized.
So he felt like a jerk. So this is him trying to make his apology. He brings some flowers over to her house, and she's you can tell that they're in love. So she's kind of forgiving him, but with flowers comes sneezing. So and I mean, I don't even know. All right. Oh yeah, we already established that she is a descendant of the guy from the beginning. So of course the leprechaun, is in the background doing his thing, making her sneeze. And as we all know, like he says, she sneezes once, she sneezes twice. She'll be my bride when she sneezes thrice. So she sneezes 2 times, and the way to counteract it is by saying "God bless you." If you say "God bless you," it saves their soul, and they can't become a leprechaun's bride. We all know this. So, so here's what's crazy. She sneezes a third time, and Cody's about to say "God bless you" when a phone cord starts wrapping around his mouth, and he doesn't get to say it. So he doesn't get to save her soul, and she becomes a leprechaun's bride, which is crazy because you're watching this, you're like, wow, like, is our heroes already defeated? Like, there's still like an hour left of the movie, but obviously there's a lot more to come.
Oh, thankfully, I'm sure you were grateful that there's more to come. Oh my god.
So at this point, they realize that a leprechaun exists, and
this is the point. This is the point where they realize a leprechaun exists. Not before, not after. This point where the leprechaun jumps them. Yeah, okay, just so we know.
And then, and I think I forget exactly what happens, but I think he basically just takes Bridget to his tree where he lives at this point, and then but wait, how I forget how they got his gold. To be honest.
Oh no, it basically just falls out of his pocket essentially and rolls into Cody's hand, because a lot of the plot for the rest of the movie is that because once Bridget's in the tree, we don't really see her till the end of the movie again. Cody has one of his gold coins though, so he has to come back and get his gold, because as you know, he has to have his gold.
Yeah.
So he's hunting down Cody. It
feels like one of the only kind of leftovers from the first movie, which was a nice nod, to the original for this reboot.
I hate you so much right now. I hate you so much. So he keeps coming back, and he's trying to tell Morty, his uncle, about all this. Yeah. And he doesn't believe him, and he gets free because Morty is pretty funny, because he does this thing where he's like, "Hold on, wait, 3, 2, 1," and he opens the door, and there's a pizza delivery guy, and he just takes his 31 minutes, it's free, and just shuts the door in his face.
Which not every pizza place does that.
No.
I do want to make sure that that was a thing that actual place does.
Yeah. I mean, for the record, I have never ordered from anywhere that's had that rule. That is very much just an American thing.
I feel like they probably did that for I bet one place did that for a year in the late 80s, and then it's been a joke forever.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you never know how traffic and stuff works.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, even Spider-Man 2 had it has to be delivered by this time or it's free. I remember sitcoms from the 90s doing jokes where people would be hiding as if they weren't home until the 30 minutes were up and things. I don't know. There was a thing for a long time.
I would say you're kind of a douchebag if you do that. Even if a person if it was something egregious where they were an hour late, then it's kind of yeah, come on, dude, what the hell? But if someone's a few minutes late, even if that was a rule, I would be yeah, just take the money anyway. I don't.
Yeah, because it's probably the person who was delivering it is probably the one who's paying for it. So yeah, don't be a dick. Yeah, it's gonna come
out of their tips, basically. So, yeah, you are a jerk and an enemy of the working class if you ever stiff a pizza boy on their bill. That's how I think. But whatever. So I don't know if you noticed this, but this is I thought very interesting is, because it's subtle. They don't really
Go on, tell me what's subtle about this movie, Tim. I can't wait here. Hold on, let me get my feet up. For this. Hold on, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to put my feet up. It's going to be delightful. Right, feet are up.
So the pizza boy was wearing a St. Patrick's Day hat, which I think that's interesting because this is taking place around St. Patrick's Day, I think, because they end up going to a St. Patrick's Day bar and there's a lot of people dressed up like leprechauns. But I like that subtle storytelling technique where you just have little stuff like that in the background that if you catch it, it's cool. You're getting that much more of the world and the story. But if you don't notice, it doesn't affect the movie or anything. But it's just just nice little technique there. What?
I don't know what Tim. I don't know what to say. I'm Subtle. Subtle, yes. Subtle.
Yeah.
Subtle.
So
Subtle.
yeah.
It's Subtle. Everyone at home is Subtle. Just salty. Leprechaun too.
So now, like, here's where we have, like, like the big conflict of the movie. The Leprechaun, he has his newly acquired bride, and he's very excited to, get down to his wedding night, and which apparently involves some type of, I don't know, transformation. Like I guess he was saying he's basically going to transform her into a leprechaun, and she's going to have a litter of leprechaun babies that I think he has to, like, pull out of her stomach. It doesn't seem like a conventional birth by any means, which is nice. You get some, ideas of some body horror in there, which is cool. But then, yeah, like you're saying, this new conflict arises where he realizes, oh my God, I'm missing like one of my gold coins. So yeah, that's going to bring him back up to the real world, where he's going to once again, come into conflict with, our protagonists, Cody and Morty, which, is it's interesting. I like that, you have these dimensions to it. It's not just like one simple thing he's trying to do.
Sure, Tim. I love how seriously you're taking this. The conflict of the movie. We're talking about the conflict of the characters now.
Well, I mean, what do you? This is a serious podcast. Are we not supposed to look at these movies critically? Are we just supposed to watch them and like be like, yeah, this was a whatever thing? Like, no, like I think we
That's
should
what you usually do.
I treat every movie with the reverence and respect it deserves.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that intensely. All right. So we're actually 40 minutes into this at this point, and we're like what, halfway through the movie. Like, I mean, I guess we've picked up pace a little bit. So they end up having like a drinking game at one point with the leprechaun. Morty had like challenges him to a drink.
Yeah. So another wrinkle that kind of gets thrown in this movie is, Bridgette. I don't think I've ever heard this before, but I guess if you capture a leprechaun, they have to give you 3 wishes. So.
Yes.
And as we all know, Morty, a little greedy, a little bit of a flim-flam man.
Oh yeah,
so
we all
sees
know
this as an opportunity.
Classic Morty.
Well, they've established early on that he he has his vices, and
do you know what? Do you know what I'm realizing here? This is basically Rick and Morty. That's pairing between the two of them. It's Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Morty and Cody. Sure, I can see it. But so now it's there's a lot going on in this movie, because you're adding this third conflict where now you have Morty wants to capture the leprechaun so he can get 3 wishes, and so they they're at this I guess a bar for leprechauns, basically. Well, for people dressed up as leprechauns. Yeah,
there's a lot of little people there. Because at one point when he's in the bathroom, Cody, this little guy who I recognize the actor actually. He's someone who pops up a lot.
I want to say he was in Bad Santa.
Yes, I think it's the guy from Bad Santa.
Yeah.
He comes in and he gives him like a gold coin, but it's chocolate. It's like a chocolate gold coin.
Yeah. This is very important.
It's important. This is your Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
Is the chocolate coin. Right? That is your thing. I'm going to check that we're still recording, because my cat is leaning next to the keyboard and I'm a little bit worried that he has hit the space bar. He's not. We're still recording. I can confirm this is good news.
Yeah. All right, so so Morty has this plan where he's going to challenge the leprechaun to a drinking contest, and at first the leprechaun is like, what? No, I'm not going to put up with this shit. But then he kind of gets everyone in the bar to rile him on, and then and of course he's looking throughout the bar, which is filled with all these other little people dressed up like leprechauns cheering him on, and the leprechaun is kind of getting like this little bit of an ego. He's like, all right, well I don't want to let my leprechaun brothers down. So, he drinks and drinks and drinks. Basically.
Wait, you thought that was the point of this series, that he doesn't want to let his leprechaun brothers down? That's what you were getting from his emotions.
Yeah, because why should he waste time? Like, doing what this person says. But then when he looks around and he sees all these other people dressed up like leprechauns cheering him on and saying like, yeah, show him what a leprechaun can do and stuff. He is a man of ego, if nothing else. So he knows that he yes, he can't be beaten in front of all these other leprechauns. So the genius of this plan, though, is that if he drinks a lot,
the genius, the genius of the plan,
he'll get very drunk, and when he's drunk, he can't really use his powers properly.
The genius of this plan is that if we make him drink, he'll get drunk. That's the genius of the plan.
Yeah, I thought it was smart.
Okay. So then the bigger plan after this, though, is to. Because worth mentioning, the police are after Cody because they think Cody killed the other guy at the house because they knew he was there. But the plan after this is to break in to the place where that guy worked at the go-kart place and steal the safe. Because one of the things that we learn in this is, as Tim would say, we all know this, that leprechauns are weak to iron. So they get this big iron safe, although Cody just doesn't let Morty take the money from the safe because he's a noble character.
Well, yeah, we relate to him. He's a good guy, so
don't speak for me. Don't you dare speak for me. So they've got this plan to lock him in the safe, but the leprechaun shows up and causes a ruckus, and Cody.
It's important to note that he murders the bar owner before he leaves.
Sure, actually, it's a different bar, is it not? Because this was just a one-off scene where it's a coffee shop. He's in a coffee shop trying to work off his hangover essentially and get sober, and
he murders this guy who I only remember him from I think he's on like Mad TV, like the early seasons of Mad TV, but
I didn't recognize him, but I did note down his line at the end because he's kind of like he's demanding that he pay. And he's like, how about gold? And he's like, yeah, gold card, Visa, whatever. Yeah. But he makes a joke about it's like, I hope you've got some cash, but you look like you're a little short. And he starts laughing really like obnoxious, like, and he says, boom, gotcha. That's something that happens. That's a moment in this scene. I just wanted to point that out. Laugh.
I put this out on Twitter the other day. I don't know if people have responded to it, but I don't know how you make GIFs. But like this movie, oh my god, there's so many GIFable moments that I would love to really make. There's especially one where Cody is going to see Morty, and Morty's just talking to the police, and like. Cody is like, oh, should I approach? And like Morty just looks at him, just like shakes his head. It's a very funny visual. I was like, oh, this would be like a perfect GIF if someone can make that.
Tim needs to learn to make GIFs. I think that's what we've learned here. I
do.
Yeah.
If I do, I promise 70% of this movie will become a GIF that I use.
Yeah. So Morty Cody realizes that he's actually immune to the powers of the leprechaun while he still has some of his gold.
Yeah.
Firefly, no. So he's immune, and like the leprechaun on the go-kart track gets his own little car, which is the cheapest looking paper mache thing I've ever seen. Like, obviously there's a core go-kart that's in there that's really driving, but like all these like spikes that are stuck onto it are just so cheap looking, like really nasty.
Yeah. If anyone has any lines on, like, I don't know if there's someone on Etsy or something that makes like custom like little toys or figures, but like I need this go-kart. This was so cool. And like I know like all these like retro companies and stuff, like they'll like recreate something like, oh, like here's this like old character from like Friday the 13th or something, or like, oh, here's like the Freddy car at the end of Nightmare or something. But I want the Leprechaun go-kart. If anyone is willing to make that, I will pay money for that.
There's a sucker born every minute. Morty would love you, Tim. Love you. So basically, he lures him into the safe, and they've got him in the safe. But then Morty pulls a heel turn and locks Cody in a closet because he wants to get 3 wishes. He's like, I want my 3 wishes. So he asks
part of the movie.
He asks for his gold just to be vindictive. So he gives him the gold, but it appears inside his stomach, and he ends up with this big, grotesque prosthetic where his stomach's really huge, and you can just see this pot of gold sitting in it.
Yeah.
And then he has to use his second wish to get him out the safes so that he can help him. So he does that. Even though he has to actually like lean over and open the door anyway, so the wish is kind of a waste. And then he's like, so is your third wish for me to get the gold out? He's like, yeah, it's my wish, it's my wish. So he just rips open his stomach and takes his pot of gold out.
Yeah. Jeez. It really sucks to see, like a character that you've grown to really like, and just, them to be destroyed by their own hubris is this is definitely like this scene is hard to watch.
I don't have any more words. I don't have any more jokes to make about you taking this so insanely seriously. I really don't.
I think it was clever because he did technically he did fulfill his wishes. It's one of those things where it's like, damn, man, should have worded them better. Damn. But sad to see Morty go, but it was a cool visual at the least. Again, it's, if there's one thing this movie does well, it's body horror. Seeing the gold appear in his stomach, between the sound effects, and then seeing this gross extended, stomach flesh is disturbing.
So Cody decides to go where the leprechaun is because he realizes where he came from and tries to get his girlfriend back.
They don't really show how he knows the exact tree where the leprechaun lives, or how he gets inside, but he does.
Yeah.
And actually, one thing that I wasn't sure about, so he can transport his gold into someone's stomach, but the piece that he's missing, he just can't transport back to him.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's interesting. I don't know if maybe there was a scene where they explain why that is, and maybe it got cut out or something. But
I don't think they ever thought about it too hard, Tim. I don't imagine when they were writing this script that there was much of a thought process about the rules of his powers.
I guess in my headcanon, I guess it's like, once someone possesses it, maybe he can't transport it, but it would have been nice to have it clarified just to make sure.
Well, I think technically he does, like Morty does possess it in this scene because he has it. It's in his stomach.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. All right. Yeah. So the smart.
Shut up. So he basically, the leprechaun tries to trick him by pretending to be Bridget to kiss Cody, but Cody tricks him back by giving him the chocolate coin instead of the real coin.
Hey, are you just gonna totally glom over the skeleton fight scene?
I was hoping to, but if you wish to talk about it, yes, you could talk about it.
He fights a skeleton. It's great. It looked like a real skeleton, so that was cool. Here's the thing I thought was weird, because at first I thought the leprechaun was controlling the skeleton and speaking through the skeleton, but then at one point, the skeleton calls the leprechaun master. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I failed you, master," or whatever. So I was like, "Oh, so this is just like a separate person," but I guess maybe he can just reanimate skeletons, and and it's great when he first appears. He gets Cody's running around trying to find Bridget, which it's terrifying because there's all these magical properties in the tree, so you can never really know where you're going, and there's all these scenes where they go down one hall and then just come right back at the start, so it's very feels very claustrophobic and foreboding. And then there's a scene where he runs into a skeleton hanging on the wall and he gets scared, but then he goes, "Oh, how cliche," which, as the audience, you're laughing, going like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I thought it was cliche," but the fact that you think it too is funny because you're calling out the joke that you're making. But then we get surprised when the skeleton does actually come to life and start attacking him.
Speak for me. What do you mean we get surprised? No, there's no we. No we.
For some reason, I like you saying "no we," but I thought this was another fun, compelling scene. But yeah, like you said, eventually he is able to subdue the skeleton and find Bridget. Or is it Bridget? No, because you said earlier it wasn't. It's the leprechaun pretending to be Bridget. But we're almost at. This is basically the climactic scene here, pretty much.
Thank fuck.
So I think at this point, you kind of get the feeling that that Bridget is really just a manifestation of the leprechaun, because she starts talking about like, oh, give me the gold coin, like, if we leave the gold coin here, we can escape and he won't bother us because he'll have his gold. But once she starts to get really like into the idea of him giving her the gold, then that's when you kind of start going like, oh wait, this is on the up and up. But then he falls for it anyway. He gives her the gold coin. Or does he?
Tim's thought process through his first time watching this, it's like, I don't think I trust her. She's not on the up and up. I don't buy this for a second. Cody, don't trust her. Cody, don't trust her.
It's a good movie when you're yelling at the screen going, no, don't. But
I was certainly yelling at the screen the word no a lot. That definitely happened.
Yeah. But unfortunately he does, give him the gold, and then the leprechaun is able to essentially kill him, which is sad. He has this iron rod, and the leprechaun, throws him back, and the rod goes through his chest. Except maybe it doesn't, because Cody gets back up, and you're like, at this point, you're kind of like, wait, what the hell is going on? I just saw him die. But then it's like, oh wait, he still has the gold coin, because the one he gave him was milk chocolate. And then that's why it was important earlier that he got the milk chocolate gold coin, which apparently the leprechaun was not able to realize that what he was holding did not, weigh the same or look the same as his gold coin. But I guess he was taking it on good faith that, what he was giving him was the real deal. And I think he says some great line or something like, it was like, it's milk chocolate, bitch, or something like that.
No, he says it's authentic milk chocolate, or it's real milk chocolate, because it was basically like someone saying authentic gold. He said that, but with milk chocolate. I believe that was the joke, if you want to even call it that.
I might have added the bitch because I was so fired up at this point.
I bet you were. So they get out the tree, they're kissing, and that's the end of the movie. Bye bye.
Well, wait.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The leprechaun explodes. You're just gonna pass over the fact that the leprechaun explodes?
Make a stop. Make a stop. We're done.
That is the end. But yes, the leprechaun did explode. Honestly, I forget why.
And apparently so did you. You exploded at the end of this as well. Poor wife was cleaning jizz off the walls.
But I mean, it was great. It's always cool when the bad guy explodes at the end. We all know this. But I mean, it would be. I think maybe when I first saw it, I would have been kind of like, oh man, is that really the end? But obviously we know more sequels came later. But it's nice, then they have a nice little reunion. They make a joke, which, I guess, I don't know what kind of grief you would be feeling in that moment. They've certainly been through an ordeal, but I guess maybe it helps them to joke about it after. And then the movie ends very abruptly. I was expecting maybe some type of stinger where, like, we're going to get a little hint that the leprechaun wasn't quite dead yet, but no, nothing like that. So it's a nice happy ending, which is cool.
It's definitely happy because it's over. That's the real takeaway from this. To kind of sum up my thoughts on the film compared to the first one, I will admit that this is a little bit better than the first one.
Yeah.
The characters are a little bit more memorable, particularly Morty. The set pieces with the leprechaun stand out a little bit more in my memory than the first one did. Even just having the setup of like having this weird morbid tour thing to like set up the plot at the start just gives it a little bit more personality. It's still a bad movie, and the two lead actors can't act for shit, but it's a little bit easier to sit through in the first one. The first one, I really felt the pacing. This one at least kind of flowed well enough, even if it's not that good either. So
yeah, I like to compare it to like the Child's Play franchise, where the first one's good. It sets up the characters, the world, or whatever. But then the second one is where it really like, okay, this is what we can do with this franchise, and like kind of.
This is true for Child's Play. Yes, I agree with that part.
But yeah, I agree with you though. Yeah, it is better than the first one.
Mm-hmm. With that said, what are you rating Leprechaun 2 out of 10?
I mean, it's just such a blast. It's one of those ones where with each viewing you kind of get more like there's always like little stuff that you miss. The kills are great. The characters are interesting, fleshed out. And again, this is the one that like I think really delivers on the scares. This is the one where you can feel like the threat of the leprechaun. And yeah, it's I don't want to give away stuff that happens in the rest of the series, but this is definitely
please don't.
Yeah. This is definitely a high mark for me in this franchise. So it's not perfect. I will give it that. So yeah, like I can't go like.
But Tim, it has one of the greatest twists of cinema.
That is true. I will stand by that. So I'm not gonna go like super high, but I'll give it a 7.5.
4.5.
Interesting. Oh, wait, is that your score?
That's my score, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess everyone has their opinion.
4.5, which I think is slightly higher than what I gave the first one. But no, 4.5. That's what you get from me. So there you go. That's Leprechaun 2. We will unfortunately be doing Leprechaun 3 at some point in the future, probably a few months' time. So look forward to that. We're doing other sequels. We're working through other movie franchises, and obviously a lot of new movies. So look forward to that. Oh, pardon me.
I do. I actually just was it this week or last week that the Leprechaun Returns finally came out on Blu-ray? So I got that. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited. I was debating if I should wait till we get to it in the series for the podcast, but I just don't think I can wait. I think I gotta watch it. Obviously, I'm gonna watch it multiple times, so I don't think it'll be a big deal to watch it and then watch it again for the show. But in case anyone was wondering where I am with that, because I know earlier in the year I was tweeting about how I was upset that there's no official release for the Blu-ray yet. It's it is out now. You can go ahead and buy it, and I do have my copy, so it's all good.
Yeah, everyone can sleep easy tonight. Tim's got Leprechaun Returns on Blu-ray.
Yeah, people were worried about it.
Oh, I'm sure they were worried about it. I'm sure. All right. So that has been Leprechaun 2 on Screws After Midnight. Let us know what you think of the movie if you're unfortunate enough to have sat through it in the comments below. You can subscribe, rate us on your podcast app. It always helps us. As does, of course, go to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month, where you can get some bonuses. If for $1 per month, you get a bonus episode every month. We have good fun with that. At the $5 tier, you get to vote on an episode every month. And we are working towards a goal right now. At the $250 goal, we will start doing a once-a-month live stream called Streams After Midnight. Where both me and Tim will do a variety of things. Maybe we'll play a game together. Maybe we'll watch a movie together with the chat. Maybe we will do a live review of sorts. I don't know, but we'll have fun.
Yeah, potentially be Leprechaun related. Who knows?
Not if I have a say in it. Jeez. So that is that. But yeah, that's us. So thank you once again. See, I'm all flustered. This has been such a weird review. This has been the weirdest review we've ever done. I can't even begin to fathom the or quantify the result of this.
That's a good one.
What have we become? What have we become, Tim? So yes, thank you very much for watching.
This is the first time I feel legitimate. Okay, actually, I do feel like a film critic now.
interesting. Thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching scary movies, guys, and we will see you next time.